Now we move on to our next news. US President Donald Trump is on Asia trip and he has talked on plethora of topics during the visit. While talking about various peace deals that US has brokered under second Trump administration, US President has reiterated his claims of brokering peace deal between India and Pakistan. After the Pahalgam terrorist attack in the month of April, India has launched a series of counterstrikes against the terrorist facilities in Pakistan that escalated into a conflict. After days of strikes, a ceasefire was agreed between India and Pakistan. US President Donald Trump has since then claimed credit of brokering the ceasefire deal. They claim that Indian government has denied on several occasions. However, President Trump again reiterated his claim while appreciating his relationship with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Pakistani leaders, especially Field Marshal Asim Munir. Trump has stated that he used trade to settle the conflict. Let's listen in to what he has stated.
And Pakistan. So I'm doing a trade deal with India, and I have great respect and love. As you know, for Prime Minister Modi, we have a great relationship. Likewise, the Prime Minister of Pakistan is a great guy, and the Field Marshal, they have a Field Marshal. You know why he's a Field Marshal? He's a great fighter. He really is. He's a great guy, too. And so I know them all. And I'm reading that 7 planes were shot down. They're going at it, and they're really starting to go. And it's a big thing. These are 2 nuclear nations, and they're really going at it. And I called Prime Minister Modi. I said, we can't make a trade deal with you. No, we must make a trade deal. I said, no, we can't. You're starting a war with Pakistan. We're not going to do it. And then I called Pakistan. I said, we're not going to do trade with you because you're fighting with India. And, you know, 2 nuclear nations. And they said, no, you should let us fight. They both said that. You know, they're warring. They're strong people, I'll tell you what. Prime Minister Modi is the nicest looking guy. He says, and he looks like you'd like to have your father, like, he's a killer. He's tough as hell. No, we will fight. I said, whoa, this is the same man that I know. But after a little while, and they're good people, and after literally 2 days, they called up and they said, we understand, and they stopped fighting. How is that? Isn't that amazing? Now, you think Biden would have done that? I don't think so. Most people wouldn't have thought of it, but, you know, they wouldn't have thought of it. No, but here we are, we're doing deals. So you add an extra sentence.
Now for this discussion, we welcome back retired Major General G.G. Dwivedi. He's a defense analyst, joins us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much for joining us again, Major General G.G. Dwivedi. Now looking at this, how credible are U.S. claims of brokering peace deal between India and Pakistan amid repeated denials from the Indian government, and why is Pakistan not denying it and playing along with U.S.? Major General G.G. Dwivedi.
Yeah.
Yes, would you be able to, should I repeat my question here?
Yeah, actually I didn't get your question. I'll appreciate if you can repeat it, please.
Yes, so I was asking how credible are U.S.'s claims of brokering peace deal between India and Pakistan amid repeated denials from the Indian government, and why do you think Pakistan is not openly denying these claims?
Well, the point is that the peace deal between, I would say, the ceasefire between India and Pakistan came about when the 2 armies, that is DGMOs, they had a talk over, and then it was decided between the 2 armies, or the 2 DGMOs, that this ceasefire should be agreed upon. And then the political leadership, they took the call, and they went ahead with the ceasefire. But the point is that while President Trump has made repeated claims, but as far as India is concerned, India's position is concerned, this ceasefire was purely between the 2 countries. It was a bilateral, and there was no third party, either intervention or facilitation. So therefore, that is the stated position of India. And we go by what is the India's position, where Pakistan want to, placate President Trump, they have nominated him for the Nobel Prize. Well, they have their own interest, and that's exactly what the Pakistan do, because they have the policy of servicing the interest of other countries, and they offer them to be used. Many times they also are misused, but that is upon them. But as far as India is concerned, the ceasefire was purely between the two countries, and there was no third party intervention, and that's his stated position. Asuma.
And do you think this could have any effect on the relationship between Washington and New Delhi and Washington and Islamabad?
Well, firstly, relations between India and America are very deep rooted. They have strategic convergence, we have strategic interest, and these relations have been built over a period of time. They are not transactional, they are far-sighted, and both the nations have a lot of commonality as far as the strategic perspectives are concerned, be it Indo-Pacific, be our value system. So therefore, I think these small irritants can always happen. Whereas American relation with Pakistan are very transactional because they have no deep-rooted strategic dimensions. They are just from some temporary interest, or I don't think they have any deep-rooted connotation as far as India is concerned. Well, I think there was certain amount of irritation, or I would say friction, because of the tariffs, but I think that is being resolved because both the sides are working on the tariffs and working on a trade deal. And also one of the areas which President Trump was very sensitive about, India buying oil from Russia, I think that purchases have also come down. We have increased our oil import from America almost 1.5 lakh barrels per day. We are importing from America. So I think that gradually that convergence is coming in, and President Trump and Prime Minister Modi have been in conversation. They had two one-on-one talks as well. So I think then time to come, I have always maintained that this is a very temporary friction or temporary irritant. It will get resolved. But we have very deep-rooted relations, especially in defense, strategic issues, and our value system. So I think that in time to come, I am very confident that we will be able to resolve this trade and tariff issues, and relations will once again be on track. But as far as Pakistan is concerned, I think relations between America and Pakistan are very, very transactional, and they look at very short-term interest. But I think in the long-term perspective, America has a lot to, gain and further the larger global agenda, where India has a very important role to play, especially when you take on Indo-Pacific and this region as a stabilizing factor, and also furthering the larger interest of the Americans at large. Asuma.
With that, I would like to thank Major General G.G. Dwivedi for joining us as a defense analyst and sharing that insight throughout our topic. Thank you very much. Now we move on to our next news.